Hello, everyone. This is Greg Jones of Ear to the Ground Music again, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Lake Street Dive and their album in 2016, Side Pony. Uh, some of you, I'm sure, are already fans of Lake Street Dive, and so maybe you've been listening to them for a few years and really appreciate that vintage vibe that they have, that retro glow, as we might say. And when the new album came out with this slightly bigger production value and snazzy songs, with that jazz bass to them, that was satisfying for a lot of us. We actually didn't cover the full album with a review on our site, so I thought I would offer a few comments here. And then, as I did in our previous video, I'll offer some suggestions at the end of some other bands that you might be interested in if you happen to like Lake Street Dive. So, the album begins with God Awful Things, which is a great kind of dance groove, get you going. You can imagine that a live show really having this be a song that gets everybody up and excited, and it's got its own cultural criticism embedded in the song, but it also is just really great pop music in the traditional sense of the term pop, meaning snazzy and kind of exciting rather than melancholy or sad. A couple of the songs that I want to highlight that really jump off the album for me would be Call Off Your Dogs, the syncopation and that pop jazz flavor of that song, which of course Rachel Price's vocals are phenomenal throughout the album, but I think it's particularly strong on that one that you just can't help but dance. It's a really good song, and it also I appreciate how it has a relationship message that a lot of people I think can connect with. And then on the other side of things, I really enjoy the track Mistakes, which begins with a great trumpet solo, real cool jazz vibe to that. And, hats off to McDuck for his trumpet skills, very versatile performer on guitar and trumpet. But hearing that solo, which is really smooth and emotional, something that's not necessarily always easy to do with brass instruments, and it comes through really as a phenomenal track. Probably my favorite on the whole album. And then the last track, Saving All My Sinning, which is a little more attitude filled, right? It's a little more snappy, and it has tons of sort of sultry, not just the image, but even the style. Like how many of us in our lives have thought about, misbehaving, and what does it mean to contemplate that and save all your sinning, to wait and then kind of let loose. It's a real good party song. It's a real good live performance song, and I really appreciate that. And the whole album, I would say, one of the things that I love about it is that these are four performers that are exceptional musicians. I mean, world-class musicians, but they come across as totally approachable people. Like, they come across as somebody you'd want to grab a drink with and just talk about music, talk about art and life. And I don't think that all popular musicians or musicians that are in this caliber and rising to the top have that same kind of approachable attitude and mentality. So, good props to Lake Street Dive on that. Now, in terms of the three bands, I'll just briefly mention them here. The first one is a group called Jeremy and the Harlequins. They have some of the vintage sound, especially with their guitars, that if you like Lake Street Dive, you'll get into them. So I'll put a link down in the description for their album, so check them out. Another would be Raylan Baxter. Maybe you already know him. He's a singer-songwriter, maybe more in the Nashville crowd. But Raylan Baxter has a a similar, maybe mid 1970s kind of tone put on his guitar, and he writes the same kind of music, but it really comes through with the guitar licks, I think, on the electric guitar that crosses over with Lake Street Dive. And then the last group are a very small but quickly rising group called the Tumbling Wheels. And one of the parallels I see with them is that they cover multiple eras, much like Lake Street Dive. Like, you don't listen to their music and think, okay, they're a 60s cover band or something like that. You hear it and think, they sound 60s, they sound 70s, they sound sometimes throwback to the 40s, and they can take elements of pop and jazz and rock and roll and bring them together, much like Lake Street Dive. So I'll put those in the description here. Please check out these bands, check out our articles. Matt, the co-editor Matt, ranked this Side Pony album in his top albums of 2016. So I'll link that for you as well. Thanks so much for having a little bit of time here to talk about some good music. I'd appreciate some comments down below. If you enjoy this style video and you'd like to hear about some other albums that maybe we didn't cover last year but you think would be a good fit for the site, please do go ahead and mention those in the comments, and we'll see what we can do to get a video posted for you. Thanks again for your time, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.